Yo, what's up guys, it's Soffi here, coming up at you. Today we're going through my FSL Season 3 wins and the Championship battle. We came into this season as the defending champions with everything to lose. And once again, it went down to the final lap of the final race. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to everyone's favourite casual league. It's the Funday Sunday League. 15-minute races, 3 races per round, and no rules except for Verstappen standards. But that means it's a contact sport. Let's get straight into it. Starting on pole position for round 2, race 1 here. Remember, we're going through our wins and our best performances. Littler briefly challenging at turn 1, but we hold on, going all the way around the outside. However, it's already going to start terribly here. On lap 1, unfortunately, Red Bull Ring notorious for its reset if you go wide at the last couple of corners. So, despite my vain attempts to keep it on the track, remain behind Littler, unfortunately we do get reset, sent back to 11th. But it's fine, because in this league, boost is on. That's right, so we're going to start our comeback. Boost plus our talent should get us pretty far. We're already going to gain a position up to 10th as someone gets reset on the entry of turn 1. Get a bit squirrely as we go over a curb. Junior's fix on the apex, stuck there. Just about managed to avoid him. Back up to P9 after just a couple of corners. Absolute chaos here in the space of 2 corners, or maybe even 1 corner. We're about to gain 4 places. 1 reset, 2 resets, 3 resets, 4 resets. And just like that, P9 to P5, and we set the fastest lap of the race, of course. Our pace combined with the boost. 3-way battle for P2 here. WGR goes wide. Ruben just about a safe rejoin. But now we are right on the back of him, taking advantage of Verstappen standards where contact is allowed. Mild contact, door banging mainly. And we use that to push Ruben off the dry line. And we're up into the podium positions. Coming onto the back of Pat. How easily can we get past Pat? Got to be careful here because we've strayed wide here. Can we brake early this time and make sure we keep it on the track? Going actually really cautious just to make 100% sure. Pat doesn't have the best exit. I don't know if this was deliberate from Pat. Does a little bit of swerving. I chose to stay on the outside because I was going to get past anyway. Almost goes for a swipe, a little take out there. I don't know if that was deliberate or not. But who cares because we got past anyway. Little bit squirrely on the exit, very squirrely on the exit, very squirrely on the exit. Have to go defensive against Ruben here. Ferrero Bordeaux as it comes up on our screen there. In the Golf Mark 7 GTI. Once again, a little bit of door banging, trying to put him onto the wet stuff. We just about slot in ahead. And we're going to begin our charge to take back the lead. The gap at this point, around 5.5 seconds. Going to fast forward to lap 5. This is where, I mean, the charge to get up to Littler begins, but I was still coming under threat. There was under a little threat from Senna there on that lap. The following lap, almost taken out, almost completely wiped out by Senna. Ruben could have attacked here, but he chose to help both of our races, going for the bump draft instead of the move there. And just look in the distance how much we've caught Littler in these last couple of laps. He's just there in the distance. Can we catch up to Littler before the end of the race? Let's find out. Here we go. Fast forward to lap 9 where we take our PB. Are we close enough for a dive bomb within Verstappen standards on Littler? We look for it, but we decide against it. This is, at this point, really piling the pressure onto Littler. Will he succumb to the pressure? It's really difficult with boost, I'll be completely honest, to determine which car was the faster one. Usually, typically without boost, I usually have the pace over Littler, but not by much. But that's what makes these races interesting. How can Littler make a faster car than me? Littler, going wide at the exit of turn 9, gifts us the lead. And so we've made it back to the lead with 9.5 minutes in. There's 5.5 minutes to go at this point. Littler coming under, or really me coming under attack from Littler. Can I get back on track? Just about ahead to go defensive. Just about maintaining the lead there, as I had parked the car on the apex at turn 1. Just about avoiding contact from Littler there, as he goes storming into the final corner. We're going to ride on board with Littler for these next couple of turns. He's up on his PB, looking around the outside. No, he gets on the wet stuff. No grip there. He's going to lose a bit of momentum. He's going to follow me. I didn't intend to break the slipstream swerving there. I was just cooling my tyres by going onto the wet stuff. He thought I was trying to get the slipstream from him there. He fell for it. He opened the door for Ruben on the inside. He goes wide at turn 9. Bit of contact from Ruben. Door banging. And Littler is going to get reset and unfortunately fall down to P11. What an unfortunate shame for him. He was having a great race up until that point. Keep your eye on Littler for the rest of this video, chat. He's going to be super important. Coming on to lap 13. Does Ruben go for this move? Surprisingly not. Knowing that I can get him back comfortably with my pace and boost. But with Littler out the frame, there was a new foe. Emzine, the Belgian behind, in the KTM. Extremely good cornering. And so Ruben, holding him up, was helping me here. Really, that KTM was 95% the meta car. Emzine just running into a lot of incidents this race. The more Ruben kept Emzine behind, the better. He's holding on through these sequences of corners. I go a little bit deep here. Can I get over to the inside? Yes, I can, just in time. And my Alpha just about had the top speed over the GTI here, managing to keep ahead for the time being. But unfortunately, Ruben's attack is short-lived, as he is punted off the track. The race unravels for him, unfortunately, and he is plummeted back down to 11th. 11th position appearing very often in this video. Let's have a look at it from King Healer's point of view, or Hank as we call him. Just, I mean, you know, your typical pun. I mean, I try to say, you know, my mantra is try to avoid making contact with the cars ahead if you go deep. But yeah. That left me vulnerable on the final lap here to Emzine, trying to hold on through this tight sequence of corners. Coming onto the power, we get away with it for now. We're going to get the message popping up on our screen that it's the final lap. Just for confirmation there. Can we just hold on for 2 more corners? Here we go, second to last corner. A little bit cautious. Not sure if I want to go defensive or not. Choosing the inside. Cautious on the exit. Preventing Emzine from getting the switchback. Ladies and gentlemen, that is our first race win of Season 3. You love to see it. Just about holding on to P1 in the end. Now, moving on to round 4, race 1, I believe, once again, starting from pole position, just like last race, we claimed pole position. Unfortunately, this race I did not have as maxed out a Polo GTI as I would have liked. Littler getting the launch on me there, probably better at acceleration, top speed as well, and being on the inside, couldn't see my braking point, went in way too cautious. That's my fault, and just basically gifted Littler the lead. However, absolute send as Littler brakes way too early. No contact, as you can see there. He just, too desperate on the power, accelerates off the track on his own accord, and we take back the lead. This was really going to be a race where really all we had to do all race was just hold on to the lead. Have a look at this though. defending the inside all the way until the last second when I decided, no, actually, I want to see my braking point. And it works out as Cam there on the inside has to brake earlier, not knowing where that braking point is. Unfortunately, just one corner later, we go very deep. Have to trail brake it. Littler looking around the outside. No, that's not going to work there. But I'm going to go deep here. Deep again. Bit of contact on the exit. Can we hold on to the position? We have the inside for the long hairpin. Bit of contact from Cam behind. 3 wide is just not going to go. Cam goes off the track. Absolute chaos. And Hans comes out of nowhere to take the lead. We're going to fall back. It's going to just about be P2. We hold on to P2 from Hank there. And now we have the boost to catch back up to Hans. But we wouldn't be spending too long behind him, as all we had to do was wait one corner before we'd be heading straight back into the lead. Hans not picking his braking point wisely, despite being on the outside. Of course, aiming to brake just after that yellow arm cone. Purple sectors, despite being in the lead here, bottling it at the final corner as we go wide. However, fighting for the slipstream there, it doesn't matter because Hank's car less upgraded than ours clearly. As you can see, faster in a straight line. Let's see where we brake. We brake at the good point. Hank just goes that little bit deep. And see you later, back into the lead. This is going to be a very repetitive cycle, by the way. I can't stress how many times I had to go defensive in this race. I can't show them all, like, really. Here, losing in 3 positions at first, just going deep again. Very costly mistakes right now. Just about holding on to 3rd. 3 wide once again, barging my way past. Having to force my way through. Once again, back into the lead. I just can't show all the defences. There's so many times I had to go to the inside, hold the position from someone else. I have only enough time to show you all the battles, like the close battles, like proper battles I had across this race. Trading positions. Here we go. Littler all over the rear of me. Bit of a slow entry. Bit of contact from Littler and we're off the road. Littler slips back into the lead. Can we regain this lead as soon as possible? Looks like Hank's looking up the inside. We hold on around the outside. Down the inside of Littler. It's just not going to materialise. Hank barging his way past in the process as we just were not confident enough there. And actually not going for the move cost us a position. So here we go. Let's claim it back from Hank with our superior top speed here. Find our braking point. And it's a well-controlled move. Bit of a jump scare from behind. Making sure that the door is closed. For sick as well. Can we dive up the inside of Littler? Full send. That is how you do it. Really committing to the move this time. Also waited a little bit by Littler going slightly deep, but I had no other choice in that scenario. Can we hold off Luke Littler once again? We call him, of course, Luke Littler. On his screen, he comes up as M. Littler. His real name's Matt. Luke Littler is just a nickname that I came up with as I was streaming when he began joining my streams. Another battle with Littler here. Littler wins out. And it's not looking great. 3.5 minutes to go because we're 11.5 minutes in and we've slipped down to 4th. But absolute chaos at the final hairpin again. Knives breaking point way too early. I should really apologise for that while I am here. I didn't get a penalty for this. I don't know how. I should have, really. But we didn't, and that's all that matters. Coming on to the final lap here. Confirmation that it is the final lap in the top left. Deep in their hairpin again. Too desperate on the power, just driving straight off the road. Luke Littler on the outside. We're going to have to pull out all the stops if we're going to take this lead. Getting really aggressive on Littler, forcing him wide onto the grass to maintain the position. He doesn't lose too much momentum, so it's within Verstappen standards. Can we absolutely send it on sick? Coming into the final corner. He goes defensive. We don't care. There's a car's width there. Barging our way past once again. And on the final corner, or really second to last, we take the win. Absolutely huge. What a win that is. What a race that is, really. Sticking with round 4 here. Race 3 at Watkins Glen. We've got an Alfa, a Yaris, Mazda, Golf. Looking like a hatchback race. I have no idea what happened here. I went back through my stream to check if I had just reacted so quickly. But no, turns out maybe I just had the best acceleration on this car. Going from 4th to 1st, as you can see. Taking the lead as we do. Doesn't mean it's all over though. Coming up to the first chicane. Well, not really the first chicane if you count this long sequence of high-speed corners. KC, a better upgraded car than mine. We're going to allow him through. We're not going to battle it to try not to lose too much time to the cars behind, who of course have boost at this point. KC then taking the lead. KC at the final corner, however, not having the last corner that he would like. You can just about hear that he scrapes the wall on the exit. We are going to hold the inside here. Looking at my POV, actually, I've only just noticed that I had traction control on at this point. I'm not sure why that's the case. I don't usually drive with traction control on. I usually never drive with traction control on. But anyway. Coming out of the final corner. We do what KC did last lap, but worse. And Nive now comfortably retakes the lead. Can we look up the inside, claim it back? No, we can't. And so Nive, although he is bugging around everywhere right now, a bit of lag, he's going to take the lead. However, third lap, or even better, third time in the first 3 laps, the leader takes a suboptimal line into the final corner and gets a slow exit after clipping the wall. We set the fastest lap as we retake the lead of the race. Going defensive against Nive here, too defensive. I braked way too much for this corner. Nive taken back the lead. Littler allowed through as well. Can we hold off from Sick or D. Thiessen as it comes up on our screen? Dominic Thiessen, the German driver for Halex Racing. No, he will not be able to pass there. Contact with Littler as we try to make the pass here. Can we make our way through? Yes, we can. Just about. We aren't close enough really for a move on Nive. Or are we? We have a look. Nive is going to use, well, the full extent of the track to try and keep the position here, but it won't work out for him. We take the lead at turn 2. Into the chicane, 6 car, similar to KC. Seems to be better, more upgraded. So we're going to allow him through, try not to lose too much time. Can we already reclaim the lead? No, we can't, as Nive actually, very clever from Nive, uses us to take the lead. A little bump from behind. And I couldn't take the line that I wanted. We have superior top speed here, though. We're going to brake later into the second to last corner and we retake the lead. KC looking up the inside again, once again choosing to let him through to not lose too much time to the cars behind. KC, unfortunately, playing a few little dirty games there. Remember, he claimed on the party that his finger just slipped off the accelerator. We all know that was a brake check, but it's not that deep. Still half the race to go at this point. Going around the outside of Nive. Unfortunately, we're just going to turn in too early. Nive, who didn't hit the apex, making contact with him. We end up in the wall. We are now vulnerable to Hans behind in the Golf. That Golf is going to swoop past. How about Sick? No, fighting for the slipstream of Hans. Sick. Oh, a little bit of contact, getting a little bit squirrely, a load of oversteer. We can't control the car, and we end up making more contact with Sick. We lose another position to Ayrton Senna, the Dutchman. Contact behind from Just a Person. Lose a bit of momentum as we clip the cones, and we are down to P9 of 11. Minor inconvenience. We're already going to gain 2 positions straight away, though, as looks like Hank and Just a Person taking suboptimal lines. Senna's car doesn't really seem to have the pace right now. Can we claim 2 positions at the bus stop chicane? Let's find out. We're already definitely making the move on Sick. Can we get it on Senna? No, Senna has a good chicane. Look at the 4 guys battling ahead, though. Huge scenes going on up ahead. They're separated by just millimeters up there. Sick has the inside line at the hairpin. Makes the move on us there. He's going to make the move on Senna as well. Senna will make the move back on him, an audacious move, which sends Sick wide. We're going to be able to get past him. Can we get past Knive as well? Yes, we are. We're not going to force Karma onto him either. Can we go around the outside of Littler? We're going to have to lift off to make sure we don't clip the wall. We still do, but it's a very minuscule clip, which doesn't cost us time. How about Senna? Looks like we're going to be able to manage an old switcheroo here. Oh, how about that? Turning the outside to the inside at the bus stop. Parking it on the apex to make sure he doesn't get the inside line. And we're back into the podium places with 4 minutes left in the race. Hans braking more than he needs to for that final corner. We've got the inside line. Don't forget that our car is 4-wheel drive as well. So Hans, I don't believe the Golf is 4-wheel drive either. So Hans, yeah, had a bit disadvantage in the corners. Hans braking early again. Could have gone for the move on Casey, chose not to. Also choosing to obey track limits. That's suboptimal. We're going to go all the way around the outside of him. Unfortunately, Hans here at turn 3 just turns way too early. He's going to end up putting himself in the wall. I end up in the wall after going across the grass. Knive coming through in his Mazda to take P2. Going to fast forward, I believe a lap later, where Casey was overtaken by Knive. Looks like they're looking for a move. Just a lot of chaos going on here. Casey had punted Knive. We ended up going into Knive and then Sick behind, pushing us off the track. We fall back down to P4. 1.5 minutes left at this point. Is it going to be even P5 here as Cam is looking around the outside? We're going to dive down the inside, take that position back on the power. Littler down the inside will now become the outside for the final corner. He turns in too early, just like Hans earlier. We're going to maintain P4. Just about cutting across Pat there. Pat seems to have the top speed in his Golf and make the move on KC, who didn't get a great exit. But we learnt from last race, as we remembered from not going for the move on Littler and Hank getting past. The best form of defense is attack. And to defend from Pat, we make the move on Just a Person. Just a Person, fast car in a straight line. We're going to have to defend really hard. Another mistake I'm going to have to apologise for while I am here. Doing what I have to do to win the championship, putting Just a Person in the wall. Sick goes wide at the hairpin. And on the final lap here, we're going to take the lead with just 1 chicane to go. Can we hold it together? Can we not do what we did on lap 2, where we go wide here at the second to last and then compromise our line through the final corner? We actually do go really wide. In fact, we're going to do exactly that. We're going to compromise our line, clip the wall on the exit. It's a really poor exit. You can hear the engine of KC coming up to us as we come up to the line. Are we going to take first place? Just about. By a couple of tenths. We hold on to the win from KC, and that is our 3rd win of the season. Let's take a look at it from KC's point of view. If KC didn't have this massive drift, he would have had me. He would have had me coming up to the line. Really just 2-3 tenths separating us as we cross the line. But 2 wins out of 3 in total for round 4. Now, moving on to round 6. Once again, skipping around. Looking out for our best performances here. It's a Valkyrie that we're driving here. Unfortunately, still in the livery from when I acquired it from watching the GT World Series stream. We're going to hold on to the lead from pole position once again. We're taking many pole positions. Remember, there's only qualifying for race 1 in FSL. So we start from pole after taking first place in qualifying. We saw Littler go wide at turn 1. We're going to comfortably hold on to the lead. And from here on in, it was a pretty undisturbed race. Just here on lap 2, a little bit of contact from Senna. But we are going to hold on to it. He backs off and allows us to keep first place. And this was a really uninterrupted race from our point of view. Really miles ahead in the lead here. As you can see from the track map in the bottom right. Quite a distance ahead of the pack. We fast forwarded all the way to lap 7. Where we're finally going to start making some mistakes. And as you can see, through those last couple of corners, some really suboptimal lines, and all of a sudden the pack, with the pace that they have and the boost that they have, are back to within attacking range. We're going to make it another set of corners with big mistake, a very poor line through the bus stop. Use an overtake here to try and break away from Littler. Just have a look at the track map, how close he is. Unfortunately, I can't open the radar in replay mode, so I can't show you exactly how close he is. Hoping that Littler behind will hit his braking point. He doesn't really, makes contact with us. He goes deep himself, but because of how deep we went after that contact, we're going to lose 2 positions with just over 3¼ minutes left in this race. Fortunately, we've got to regain one of those positions back straight away as Sick goes extremely deep. At this hairpin, we're back up to P2, and we're right behind Pat in the Genesis Group 1, which doesn't have the top speed really. We're going to catch him on the straight here. Can we look for a move around the outside? No, it's just not going to materialise. And so we're going to have to stick behind for now. 3 minutes left to take back the lead and take the win. Under pressure from WGR behind in the GR010. This race, a WEC remake sort of, where we try to take the cars that are used in the World Endurance Championship. Pat really with no straight line speed. Let's pray that he knows where his braking point is. He doesn't, unfortunately, and in order to try and avoid going front first into the wall, we somehow pull off an incredible slide using the handbrake, but it's almost the worst case scenario. 2¼ minutes to go, and we have been shunted all the way down to P7. Can we make our way back up the field? 2 minutes to do it. Down the inside of Just a Person, laggy as hell there, man. Goodness, but we are going to take the lead. Not the lead. Definitely not the lead. We're up to P6, which is definitely not the lead. Using overtake to make our way back through the pack. Sick and Hank, we're going to use the grass to get past them. And a very cheeky move where compromising our own line helped us drift into the sides of them. But crucially, onto the inside of them, we move up to P4 WGR. That GR010 again just doesn't have the straight line speed like the Genesis. We will make our way up to Pat, almost, but if we brake earlier, we know that the other guys around us are going to go deep. WGR went deep. We're going to make our move back up the inside of him, sticking behind really the safe option here. Down the inside at turn 4, down the inside of Pat. We're going to have to get elbows out if we need to make sure that we retake this lead and don't lose it again. Abusing Verstappen standards, exploiting it to the fullest in order to get past Luke Littler. Now we just need to hold on until the end of the race. WGR's made his way back up to second. Part of the track where the GR010 is the strongest, this middle sector. Just before we go onto the back straight, going a little bit deep to make sure we aren't punted by someone who goes deep themselves. But we've held on to the lead from WGR, and that means we can break away here. You'd like to think that surely from here we're sailing to a comfortable victory, but no, there's still one last mistake in me.
as we absolutely mess up the final chicane at bus stop. Pat retakes the lead. We've got the overtake, just enough overtake left in the tank to make the move around the outside. And we're going to just about hold on to the lead after a pretty eventful ending to that race. Round 6, race 1. Race win. Pat falling to P3 at the end there, unfortunately, as Littler got past him as well. Moving on to race 2, starting in 8th place because, of course, for races 2 and 3, it works. The grid works by setting a reverse grid. We didn't start last because there was someone in race 1. Who wasn't in race 1, who was racing in race 2. We had a good launch getting up to P4, and in FSL, you really got to know the corner cuts. And we're up to P2 after just 3 corners. Once again, you've got to know your corner cuts at this track. Not just for FSL, but for Le Mans as well. Le Mans specifically. We're in the slipstream of Senna. First time on the Mulsanne straight this race. In the slipstream, moving up to the inside. We're going to reach 260 miles an hour before the braking zone. Can we get our braking point just right? We do, but we lift off a little bit too much as we go through the left-hander. It's just about enough. Disgusting traction control use there. Get that off my screen. Yep, there we go. I realised while I was driving. Why did I still have traction control on? Get rid of that. Really just became an overtake and a slipstream battle here between me and Senna. This would define most of the first half of the race. I really should have taken more avoiding action here on Senna. But I'm going to back off and make sure that he keeps the lead. An apology. Coming on to the next straight, we're going to use overtake. We're actually going to bump draft Senna as we come up to the next braking zone. Making sure that he keeps the lead after the mistake that we made. Now we come into the braking zone. Once again, you've got to know your corner cuts at this track. Slipping down the inside, a little bit of contact, but this time it is within Verstappen standards. We retake the lead. Going on to this next straight. Senna, was there contact there? Very unusual. Senna and Littler have both come past as I choose to save my overtake for later. That is the last time you're going to see a Valkyrie in this race because that Valkyrie's going deep. Hans just about makes the corner in his Genesis, but he then immediately oversteers wide. Almost takes me out again. With the right under. But that's the last time you'll see a Genesis. That's the last time you'll see anything that's not a CX4R. At least from my POV. Once again, you've got to know your corner cuts. Got to be careful at these last couple chicanes because you can easily get reset. But we judge it to near perfection on that occasion. Senna choosing to use his overtake as he notices that we're right behind him. As we start lap number 2 here. Using overtake to catch up to the back of Senna here, getting our braking point almost spot on. Senna completely missing it. Going over the grass, a huge chunk of oversteer, and we're going to retake the lead. Senna behind is going to choose to bump draft. He is going to bump draft. Going into the next braking zone, knowing that we can work together to get away from the pack behind, making sure that it's just a 2-horse race, and knowing that if he runs away on his own, then he won't be able to with the boost. Big oversteer coming out of that last corner from Senna, and now we are free to just run away with it. We're now all on our own on the track map. Senna catching up pretty comfortably, choosing to bump draft us over the Mulsanne straight, at least the first part. Will he continue? Yes, he will, all the way down to the chicane, going 220 miles an hour, flashing the rear headlights to thank him, which helps us break away even further from Littler and the pack behind. We have a pretty good chicane there. What's going to happen here? Senna choosing to use overtake. I felt that I was faster than Senna, and I wanted to lead from the front. He goes defensive, but I'm just about able to slip around the outside. Shouldn't have got on the power there too early. Far too early. 2 wheels on the gravel, getting out of Senna's way. But as I said, I wanted to lead from the front. despite what would have been boost. I think Senna mistakenly thought that I wanted to give him bump draft. Actually, no, I wanted to lead from the front. But this is where things are going to unravel for Senna here on lap 3. He's going to get reset at that final chicane, which was quite bizarre because I thought that wasn't even that big of a cut. I thought you'd get reset for bigger cuts than that. But no. He got reset, and now I'm all alone in the lead, fast forwarding onto halfway through lap 4 here. Only now do the cars behind appear on the track map, thanks to the pace that the Corvette CX.R has over the others on this track. Really now coming onto the Mulsanne straight for what will be the final time. Now using all of the available overtake. Let's see what speeds we can hit despite being impacted by the boost system. It's 259 miles an hour. And very, very thankful for the gravel, which helps us slow down for the chicane as we miss our braking point. Coming on to the next part of the straight, again exploiting our overtake, using all the tank. But here is where things will very slightly unravel. Getting a little bit carried away actually with using all the overtake, missing our braking point for that left-hander and going deep into the gravel. And we're going to make another mistake through the right-hander, braking late again. And all of a sudden you can just see that Littler and Hans and Senna are now within reaching distance, using overtake to brake further away from them. All the remaining overtake that I have left. I'm going to make another mistake through the Porsche S's, I believe. Clipping the wall on the outside, a really poor corner. And now if I make one more big mistake,
we will lose the lead and it will be game over. Cautious braking point for the second to last chicane, doing all we can to make sure we don't get reset, making 100% sure we don't get reset. Ladies and gentlemen, we win 2 races a row in a round, just about holding on to the lead there. Littler crossing the line 5 seconds behind, closer than I would have liked, but hey, Pat's car is just going to come steaming past for some reason, as is Just a Person's Valkyrie. Don't know what's going on with their cars there. Moving on, one round later, it's round 7, race 1. The first race 1 in this video where we don't start from pole position. MZ uses overtake just before I do, getting bump drafted into MZ, and then we just get bump drafted at the last minute before the braking zone. And it catches us off guard. It means that we fall down to last place. A bit of contact from Hans and Pat as well, but it's fine. Just a person goes off in the gravel there. It's fine because 15 minutes and we can catch up with boost. Pat, not a great exit out of the last corner. Around the outside, we're going to make it the inside on Hans, doing what we need to do to get past. Coming into corkscrew for the first time. What's going to happen here? Sick is going to go deep this time. We almost go deep ourselves, but we square it off. We get a semi-decent exit. Up to P4 by the end of lap 1. Senna is just going to stray completely wide here, lose momentum. He keeps it on the track, keeps it pointing in the right direction. Do we complete the move? Yes, he doesn't dive up the inside again. Coming into corkscrew. I don't know what happens here. Senna punted deep or something by Sick? I don't know. We fall back down to P4. We're going to have to regain that position again. Here we go. Can we look around the outside of Knive? No. He doesn't turn in early enough. And I don't know why here. Now that is within Verstappen standards in my opinion. But he does a very gentlemanly thing and allows us back through. So, I mean, fairs. Very gentleman of him. Corkscrew onto lap 3 here. You see we catch up to Senna massively through the corkscrew. He just has a really poor exit on his dirty tyres. He's going to go wide at that corner. One corner later, Sick himself goes wide. And we are already back up to P2 after 3 laps, and we are now free to go and catch Emzine in the lead. The Sweat himself. There he is up ahead. You can see him in the distance. From there on, the race was pretty uninterrupted once again. Another uninterrupted race. Just this little moment coming out of Corkscrew where I nearly lost it. Almost lost a huge ton of time. But we were catching Emzine. Actually, I should mention firstly, the laps here were going to start getting pretty consistent and then faster and faster somehow despite catching the leader. So we got less and less boost. But I don't know how. We're crossing the line again. 1 minute 24.6. Going faster than before somehow. There's Emzine in the distance. Yep. You can see him now. We can now see our target. Target is within range. We weren't catching him too fast, really. We were catching him really not at a fast rate. 1:24.2. We go faster again. You can see he's under the pressure though, as he strays wide at turn 1. Very wide line. Suboptimal. You can tell that he's feeling the pressure here. Coming out of turn 3. 2 wheels on the gravel. Coming out of turn 4, we're both going to put 2 wheels on the gravel. Just shows how hard we're both pushing it. Coming on to the end of lap 9, we've really caught him now. Despite taking that sausage curb, which you don't want to do, because the car bounces up, we still take another PB, a 1:24.0 this time. And now Emzine knows that we are right there. Coming to the end of this lap, looking for the dive bomb, it's just not going to materialise. And so 14 minutes, 20 seconds into this race, this will be the final lap then. Emzine's going to go fully defensive. We're going to choose to take the racing line. We're not going to dive bomb just yet. Can we look around the outside? No, there's no way. Car doesn't have the cornering for that. But we know at this point it's now or never. We need a do or die move if we're going to take the lead here. Very briefly looking at the inside of turn 3, but choose against it. Coming up to Corkscrew for the final time. Emzine slightly defensive. A huge crack of oversteer, and we have to bump draft him on the exit. Running out of corners to make this move here. Staying nice and close with him, using all the overtake we can in this final sector. Good X out of the second to last corner. Getting in the slipstream, looking to the inside. We're going to make the move. Emzine's going to chop across. Oh, he's going to get sent into the gravel as he tried to block us from making the dive bomb. We're going to slip through to take the lead. And after many, many laps of sweating it out just to catch back up to Emzine, we take the lead on the final corner of the final lap of that race. Absolute scenes. What a race that is. Moving on to the following round, round 8, race 3. Now, actually, this race is actually on the boring side, so I'm not going to dwell too much on this. This might be the race that gets the least coverage across the entire video. It's a BMW i3 one make. Just a person holding on to the lead from pole position. We do lose a position after the contact at turn 1 to Sick, but of course FSL, once again, you've got to know your corner cuts. Slipping to the inside. I don't know what line Just a Person is taking. Sick isn't enough to the inside. We retake the lead. Moving on to the first corner. However, this is a corner cut that I was almost never able to manage. Every time I tried it in practice, it just never worked out, so I never took the risk of trying it. We do lose the lead to Sick there, though. I should say, by the way, while we're here, as Tyler Davison, actually an esports driver, by the way, I should mention. Well, esports, not GTWS, but very, very fast driver as we slip back into his slipstream, fall back down to P3. This race was so slow and pretty boring, so I have cut out a lot of the content. So slow and just so unentertaining. Really showing the most entertaining parts, just really cutting it down. Retaking the lead after Sick made the move on Tyler, and they both lost momentum. Defending the inside to make sure it doesn't get past. Fast forwarding all the way to lap 8. Senna taking the dive bomb line to retake the lead. And another thing I'm going to have to apologise for. Jump scare. I should have warned you in time. I apologise to Senna for for pushing him into the pit lane there, the pit lane barrier. That's my fault. Sick coming through to pick up the scraps, to retake the lead. Sick once again though at this final corner, not staying enough to the inside, and we can slip back up the inside. Tyler can't compromise his line enough to really take the inside. So as we go 3 wide into this corner, we are going to come out on top. Fast forwarding all the way to lap 13, and now Littler's back. Littler's back in the frame. And he's up the inside now, so we're going to have to let him through here. He masters that corner cut. We get a little switcheroo on him though. Fast forwarding all the way to where the corner happens, just so we show you the action. Once again, having that inside line, doing that switcheroo, performing that switcheroo, the switchback regains us the position. Just a person choosing to bump draft us as he looks to make the move on Littler up the inside. He goes for the corner cut. Unfortunately, he messes it up, and that's kind of what was happening to me every time I did that corner cut. Gentlemanly lets us through. Is that even an adverb? I don't know if gentlemanly is an adverb. I should probably check that. Littler, again, just people not using the inside enough, losing crucial milliseconds in a momentum-focused race. Lap 18, and we're going to retake the lead. Now it's Leafy in P2. Contact on the inside, not seeing him there. And now Leafy is in charge of this race. Leafy leading from the front. Can we make the move on Leafy? He swerves too aggressively over to the right, losing momentum, and we are afforded the space on the inside to go for this move. No contact as he ends up in the wall somehow. And we're back in the lead. 14.5 minutes in, looks like this will be the final lap. Littler right behind us, masters the corner cut again. We're going to chop across. We're going to use the diagonal front of his car to get an increased speed boost. I don't know how this exists in the game, by the way. You might have seen me do it once or twice in this video. But it means that we have the momentum to hold on. Gave us a little bit more breathing space, and it means that we hold on to take the win in round 8, race 3. Having to wait till the final race of the round to take the win there. Coming on to round 9, race 3. And this is probably one of my most disappointing, boring, well not boring, but worst wins ever. I did not deserve this win. This was my worst performance in sim racing ever to end up in a win. Taking the lead by turn 1, I'll explain why that was so easy in a sec. I want to apologise for this again, by the way. I've already apologised to Senna. I don't know how this didn't get a penalty, but I shouldn't have pushed Senna. The reason I was doing that was because I thought we were still using that GP loop layout, and I was such an idiot. I thought we were driving on another layout, basically. This race was littered with mistakes like those, the one you just saw on screen there. Coming into this hairpin after a little while of being undisturbed, entering the Nordschleifer, going wide on our own accord. Hans coming through to take the lead, getting a bit squirrely on the exit. We're overtaken by both BMWs. We've fallen down to P3 in this race. Here I completely forgot that you can just cut across the grass here. I only remembered it to the last second, as you can see. Hans and Pat really getting at it. We're going to take full advantage. We're past Pat, lining up alongside Hans. We're going to be momentarily in the lead, but it's unfortunately not going to last. Because as we come up to this corner, we have the inside there on Hans, but Pat gets a switchback, makes contact with us on the exit, makes contact again, and we're back down, not only down to P3, we're down to P4. A little shunt on the exit. I probably deserved that from Senna, a bit of karma. But we're now down to P5, almost last of the GT3 runners. I say GT3 runners because in this race, you may have seen, there's a mix of front-wheel drive road car hatchbacks, GT4s and GT3s. That's just the format of this race. It will take too long to explain why. Pat in the wall at that left-hander, back up to P4. Hans in the wall over there. We have the confidence to go around the outside. We make it stick, back up to P3 now. We've got the two Dutch drivers up ahead. Here, however, another mistake. I'm going to be so stupid that I thought that we could take Bravery Corner flat out. Such an idiot. But that's not where the mistakes end at all for this race. Braking so late here, going far too deep. Somehow Hans behind making the exact same mistake. So we get away with it on this occasion. At this point, so bored that I chose to use not only the wall as the brakes, but try to wall ride this hairpin. I'm not really sure if that was faster or not. All I know is that I gained time on the two Dutch drivers ahead, Dreyer and Senna, as they were side by side and battling it out. Another mistake through this right-hander. Senna's spun out though. Dreyer spun out from it as well. And we somehow come out of that in first place. I don't know how after we made contact with Dreyer. But Pat is right behind us now though, as you see on the track map. Huge chunk of oversteer. Another mistake. Two wheels on the grass, having to lift off to make sure we keep it pointing in a straight line. Undisturbed all the way till the end of the Dottinger Her. Braking too late again for this chicane, the final chicane. Just a person in P2 who's right behind us now with the momentum, doesn't even need the slipstream. Him on his recovery drive from the back of the grid. Gonna move over to the inside. And here is where we're going to go deep, but it's actually going to work. He has the outside. He might go for the switchback, but we can park it on the apex here, almost 4 wide. As the punt from behind actually goes in our favour and helps us protect the lead. We might have seen briefly there someone coming up the inside, but no, we block that off, make sure that we eliminate any temptation for them to dive bomb up the inside. We preserve the lead, therefore, back in P1. From there on, a pretty undisturbed race once again. Coming back to the hairpin, the carousel. I just wanted to show this clip because this is probably the best I have ever taken the carousel ever in my life. But the mistakes weren't over. Lap 2 here, the final lap of course, 15-minute races. A couple of missed apexes, braking too much for that right-hander. Missed the apex there. Come to this left-hander. Missed the apex there. Can't get out wide. We do get out wide, but oh, no, we brake too late. And probably not enough either. On the grass again. And then coming out of this right hand, we're going to get an almighty snap. I don't know how we saved this. And now the guys behind, within striking range, if we make a huge mistake. Let's see what happens. Taking that corner too slowly, taking this one too slowly as well, and now they're right behind me here, taking the second bank in. Not great, almost 2 wheels on the grass, and now they really are right behind me. We need a good exit here, a good corner here if we want to eliminate any chance of being overtaken. It's not a great corner. Thankfully, Pat behind having a worse corner, dropping back a bit, but look how close he is. He's right there. Around just over a second behind, but don't forget he's got boost. And don't forget the boost claws him back into the slipstream, which then helps him even more under the Bilstein Bridge. What's Pat going to do? He chooses to play it safe and bump draft us. He doesn't want to go side by side into this chicane. We hit our braking point just maybe a bit early even. Pat giving us a little bump, and that means we come out of the chicane as the undeserving winners. We should not have won that race. That really should have been won by somebody else. But I think we were all making mistakes at some point. So, I mean, a win is a win. I will take it. That's another 18 points towards our tally, towards our championship contention. Moving on 1 round later again. now on round 10. This is the penultimate round. This is race 2. The braking bar doesn't give justice to our reaction time. We had an incredible reaction time here. 5th to 2nd by turn 1, and at turn 2, Pat's going to stray wide. We're going to slip up the inside, and in the space of 2 corners, it's P5 to P1. The very ideal start. But the mistakes are going to creep back in. Degner 1, and we're going to make a big mistake there. Taking too much of the curb, and Hans will slip through to take the lead very briefly. He gets too much on the curb at Degner 2. We get back into the lead. We need to go max defense here to prevent any dive bombs taking place. And the good thing about this hairpin here at Suzuka is that there are so many ways to take it and still get a good exit. So preserving the lead, not making the same mistake at Degner 1 a lap later, but we do go deep at Degner 2. Fortunately, you might hear Littler getting oversteer behind us as well, so we're not punished for our mistake. Fortunately, again, just showing you the hairpin there, showing that we've held on to the lead from Littler. Very, very slow on the exit of Spoon. Getting all over the AstroTurf, something you don't want to do. Defending the inside, trying to encourage Littler to bump draft us instead. He plays it sensible instead of picking the outside, fortunately, and through 130R, smooth sailing, so we aren't punished for another mistake. On the exit of the chicane, Littler right behind us once again, going fully defensive, taking the shortest route to the line, minimising the distance. Keeping Littler alongside. Littler chooses not to back out. We're on the inside. Littler's going to probably regret backing out as he ends up going over the AstroTurf himself, and we are given the lead back again. Unfortunately, Degner won another mistake, and it's more costly time-wise, not position-wise. We lose more time going through the gravel. You can hear the NSX just beating my car on volume. It's crazy. We go deep, but as I mentioned before, you can still get a good exit coming out of that hairpin no matter what line you take. And so we preserve the lead. Going a little bit deep at the entry of Spoon. Parking the bus on the exit of Spoon. Making sure that Senna doesn't look up the inside or anything. Holding on to the lead once again. No mistake from us at Degner 1, but a mistake from Senna. He gets over the AstroTurf, and he loses even more time than we did before. Look how far down he slips on the classification. Down to P8 there. Make another mistake though, getting over the AstroTurf on the exit of 130R. Pat on the outside. We're going to use Verstappen standards. Bit of contact. We make contact again. Pat takes the lead. We hit Littler on our rejoin. He slips down to P8. I want to apologise for that, actually. I probably should have stopped and waited up for him, really. But we're down to P4. It's going to become P5 after Senna chooses to take the inside. We're going to play it sensible, play the long game. We're going to play the long game and back out, avoid any opportunity of an incident. Gladiator slips through on the inside, but Sick taking the AstroTurf, so we're back on into the top 5. Gladiator going wide here at the Suzuka S's, just about not making contact. Can we get the switcheroo on the exit of the S's? Yes, we can. Can we get past him before Degner 1? It would be convenient if we do. Yes, we do. Lovely. And Senna choosing not to dive bomb us. He knows better. Pat on the gravel on the outside, you might have seen though. We're back up to P2 again. It's just Cam separating us from the lead of this race. We both go deep. He goes far too deep. He's gone over the Astro. He's gone really wide. Nowhere near the apex. We slip up the inside. But we don't get a good enough apex to really have a speed advantage. So once again, play the long game. We know that we can take up the position at another point. Going to back out going into 130R. We're not going to take it side by side. Cam, despite braking, probably got on the accelerator too early. Going wide, going over the Astro again. We take turn 1. We have another mistake here at Degner 1. Cam was close enough to capitalise though. Senna as well. And we're down to P3. They're going side by side. Look how much time we're going to gain by them battling it out, really. Almost going for the move, really. That's how close, that's how much we gained on Senna there as they went side by side on the entry. What can we do at Spoon? Senna is going to go deep. Cam is also going to go deep. He's gone over the AstroTurf. He's going to lose so much momentum. Side by side with Senna. And this time we are going to take the position coming out with Spoon. But Senna is right there. He's in our slipstream. I really should have gone fully defensive here, but I just gave the cards width, hoping that he would be sensible. Unfortunately, going for the move, and he uses Verstappen standards to barge his way through. It's completely allowed though, I'm not complaining. A little contact from Gladiator behind in the braking zone, having to go for the dive bomb, contact with Senna. Gladiator going for the switchback at the exit of the chicane. We're spun round by Sick as well, and it's really the worst case scenario. 2 laps left and we are down to P6. We're gonna have to do it all over again. Coming through Degner 1, Hans goes wide into the gravel. We have a slow exit, Gladiator in front of us on the apex. We're gonna have to defend from Littler behind. He's looking for the move again. We go extremely defensive to ensure that that move does not happen. Now Littler getting the switchback, but we're able to get a good enough exit thanks to being able to take any line through that hairpin. We're going to have to exploit Verstappen standards once he's 10% alongside, shutting the door on him, making sure that we hold on to that 5th position. Sick is really wide at Spoon. We're going to slip up the inside to take P4. Going to fast forward down to 130R. Gladiator ahead of us, braking while we only lift off, and so we have the inside. Space is afforded and we're able to make the move up to P3. Now coming on to the final lap, 15 seconds left in this race, well, till the end of the timer really. Just Pat and Senna separating us from the lead. They're going to go side by side into turn 1. Pat chooses to back out, sensible of him. He goes a bit too slow at turn 2 though. He does hold on to the lead though. Sorry, no, Senna holds on to the lead. I mean, Pat holds on to P2. Pat was not in the lead. Really just trying to find a way through here at the S's, but there's no way through. Looking around the outside in case he has a slow corner, but no. Gladiator now back in the frame. We're going to have to defend from him. Bit of contact for Verstappen standards being used to full effect here. We hold on to P3. Degner 1. What's going to happen? Pat's going to have a slow corner at Degner 2. We're going to have to hit him again. And now this is really, we're losing too much time here if we need to get this win. We're going to absolutely send it up the inside. And I'll be honest, I went a bit too far with Verstappen standards there. I apologise to Pat after making that move. I did receive a rescinded penalty. You'll find out why in a sec, why that penalty was removed. I didn't end up getting that penalty. But now right behind Senna as we come through Spoon. He's going cautious. Can we look around the outside? No. Can we get a better exit though? Yes. We're in the slipstream on the way down to 130R. Just like earlier, Senna doesn't go fully defensive. Space is afforded on the inside. And here I was just far too cautious and worrying far too much about Senna on the outside. I follow him off, even though I could have stayed ahead comfortably. Senna therefore takes the lead, and Pat getting ghost reset at the chicane. Absolutely amazing. Senna coming out of the final chicane. We find a gap just before the pit lane, looking up the inside. We take the win at the final corner. What an eventful race that was, and as you may have seen, Pat getting reset at that final chicane. That's why we didn't get that penalty, but yeah, we just about snatched the win at the end. But now, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for the final round and the championship decider, the one you've all been waiting for. First, I'm going to provide a little bit of context. On screen here, you can see me spectating certain races. That is because I was boycotting races that had terrible cars from terrible GT7 updates. That's not something that I wanted to lead towards action being taken by PD. I know that nothing was going to come out of that. I just wanted to do something that I felt happy doing. However, it was costing me vital points in the championship, and so we went into the final round 10 points behind championship leader Littler. Can we overturn it? Let's find out. Round 11, race 1. The first race of the season finale, qualifying in P2 here. Too many mistakes in qualifying, but we have the fastest car, as demonstrated by immediately getting past Ruben before turn 1. Let's see if we can hold on to this lead. I don't think we will. Certainly not for long. Coming on to lap 2 here. We're going to get a massive shot of oversteer somehow as we try to get out wide for the first corner. Littler slips into the lead. Can we quickly retake the lead? Yes, we can. Fortunately, league owner sick and penalty giver sick, going lenient on Verstappen standards, as it was a rally race. My car having this very weird issue every time we went over the bump where the front tyres just lifted up every time. Then also the car was very sensitive on countering oversteer. As you may have seen when we made contact with the wall, Ruben retakes the lead. On lap 3, let's see if we can take it back from him. We just have that pace advantage over him. We're going to go up the inside. Senna's going around the outside. He makes contact with the wall. We just about don't, but Ruben gets a switch back. I was going to say of dreams. Probably not. We get the lead back from him. Going really wide at this Mickey Mouse section. Senna's right behind us. Can he capitalise? He looks up the inside, barges his way through. Ruben also looking up the inside. He's underpowered though. We get back past him. Going cautious through these jumps, making sure that we don't go high over the jumps to make sure we don't lose too much momentum. Senna goes really deep at this corner. This corner was Senna's nemesis this race, really. Senna really struggling to get that corner right. We have that straight line speed advantage. Can we look up the inside? No, but he makes contact with the wall on the inside. Littler just jumping in out of nowhere. With our better exit than Senna, we're going to look around the outside. It's not going to materialise yet. Littler sees the gap up the inside. And what a move. Making it up his way up the inside of Senna as well. Senna looking up the inside of us again. Really barging his way through. It's not great. We've fallen down to P6. But there's loads of time left in this race to recover. As Senna would say himself here, absolute chaos moment. Group of 4 all trying to fight over the same piece of, not tarmac, gravel. We catch up considerably and absolutely going up in the air, shoving Hans out of the way mid-air. Absolutely incredible. Almost colliding with us, sick behind there, going absolutely deep. And in the space of just a few corners here, able to retake the lead from P6 to P1. Absolute scenes. On lap 7, coming up to this dreaded corner once again. Braking at the right point. Senna not braking at the right point once again. Oversteer, but the car reacting far too much when we counter the oversteer again. Littler slipping through to take the lead. Ruben back up to P2. Falling back down to P3 then. Ruben and Littler side by side right now. Ruben looking to make the move. He's going to look at the inside briefly, but backs out. But that allows me to just absolutely send it on him. We're back up to P2. Right behind Luke Littler. You're going to see that he gets very bad exit. We have a very good exit out of the jump, but that's thanks to taking the right line and having good momentum. We take a very bad line through turn 1 though. Littler back in the lead once again. We were going very overly cautious. Back down to P3. We're going to need to make these moves yet again. Down the inside of Ruben. Very robust move. But we get it done. Coming up to the back of Littler. It's the same place where Littler went wide earlier. What are we going to do though? Where are we going? That's not good. That's really not good. This is a worst case scenario right now. 4 minutes left and we're down to P7. Could be crucial here for the championship. Don't know what's going on here. Just a person, Mr. Lag Central. Somehow I go from P7 to P5 there. Something up with their Wi-Fi connections, clearly. Up to P5 then, as we go up the inside of Just a Person and Ruben. Coming up to dreaded corner again, and Hans in the wall this time, up to P4. 1 lap later, Sick and Senna going side by side. Sick coming off worse. This is where actually we're going to have a pretty long battle with Sick and Senna. Pretty nice, a nice cute battle. Senna up the inside. We're going to get the switch back on him. We're going to get the exit speed. Can we make this move going into the Mickey Mouse section? We brake early, sensing a move was not on. Sick. Absolutely blasting the car in. Up to P2 again. We're compromised through Mickey Mouse though. We're going to have to take a wide line out of third to last corner, I mean. Sick makes contact with us. Senna's back through. We're going to come back up the inside. No, we're not actually. Senna's going to stray really wide though. We've got less of a jump though, so we've got more momentum. And we're back into P2. 14.5 minutes left now as we cut to the final lap here. We've caught back up to Littler. We need to make this move somewhere. We need to get past Littler. Winning this race is going to be crucial, but actually we need to do more than win. We need to make sure Littler doesn't finish P2 in every race. Driving into him at the exit of that corner. And this is something I apologise for actually. But I feel like Verstappen or Norris in Mexico 2024, it was deliberate. It was necessary in order for us to stay in the title contention. And now when we cross the line just in time to start the final lap. The guys behind don't. And so that means we will take the race win. Littler down in P5 means that we gain 7 points on him going into race 2. That puts us just 3 points behind. Group B race here. I tricked Littler into thinking that the road car strategy, where you jump the start, is the meta strategy. I tricked him into it, so he did it as well. That's going to compromise him. You might think it's compromised me as well, but watch this. Littler's going to get caught up in the chaos at turn 1. We're not. Littler driving straight across our screens, going centre stage left. We're going to slip up the inside of everyone at turns 1 and 2, up to P2 after just 2 corners. Great start from us. Not a good start for Littler. Crucial. Coming up to Pat later on lap 1. We've caught up to him. We've got better line. Can we get him on the switchback here? On the power as soon as we dare. Pat going extremely wide. Inconvenient for him. We slip into the lead. That's important, and here we can just run away with it. And that's exactly what we did. This race was so boring that I've had to cut out so much content because we were in the lead for so long in this race. Showing you this clip to show how much time we gain on the others behind by taking the racing line. Littler, as you can see on the track map, dropping back as he doesn't perfect the racing line at that final corner, which is all the way around the outside using the banking. We're fast forwarding all the way to lap 7 here. This is where we finally lose the lead. A good, decent line through that final corner. The guys behind, again, not mastering it. This is another one of those races. We have the pace to outweigh the boost effect and stay in the lead here. Unfortunately, Littler's going to brake so late. This is the first time since before that we are not just in the lead in general in the classification. Hans and Littler both going extremely deep. Fortunately, we recover from that contact and we're back in the lead. Bit of contact from Littler again on the exit, pressuring us into a mistake, but we hold firm. We don't react to it. We're going to fast forward to lap 9. We are 14.5 minutes in. We're already at the end of the race. That's how boring this was, but we were just in the lead the whole time. Littler finally close enough to make some kind of audacious but actually realistic move within Verstappen standards. Littler finally definitively taking the lead.
We absolutely do need to take back the lead here, because if we finish first in this race and Littler finishes second, then we go into the final race separated by 1 point, and that will mean if in that race Littler finishes second and I finish first again, then we win the championship by 1 point. Running out of opportunities to make this move. We're going to brake extremely late coming into this right-hander. Can we make the move on the inside? On the power early. Bit of contact with Littler, and he's pushed slightly into the wall. He's trying to push on us, trying to force us into a mistake again. I have one last trick up my sleeve, using the wall ride on the entry of the final corner to break away from him, and we create enough of a gap for him to stay far enough out from the slipstream, and we are going to take our second win of the round. An incredibly crucial win at that, as well as the championship battle heats up. And so as we enter the final race of the entire season with just a single point separating me and Littler, let me explain to you how this final race works. It's a tournament format in Ford Focus Group B cars. The essential thing is that me and Littler can only face each other in the final. I won my quarterfinal, Littler won his quarterfinal. I won my semi-final, and Littler won his semi-final too. So, with the final showdown taking place between me and Littler, if I win this race, I win the championship by 1 point. Can we take one last win and successfully defend our title? Let's switch to the live recording to find out.
Alright, let's
Chat, what a season it has been! The final round
absolute
of the
team
final
man.
race. And we are tied,
supporting.
level on points. The greatest showdown, this is like Max v Lewis. For real, Knife. Oh my god, what are the chances?
Okay. Alright, here we go.
Good luck to you too.
Good luck, Littler.
Soffi.
Good luck with it.
The final race of
€5
the
that Soffi will kill him in
Championship.
turn 1.
We're here in the rallycross here in Barcelona. We're on red, all the red lights, and it's green now.
Green, the next launch. Matt takes the corner right, but he gets in the sand. Soffi passes through. Soffi passes through.
Soffi's already first.
Oh, Soffi used his braking point, went too wide. Same for Matt, but Matt has control.
Come on.
Oh, Matt is gaining. Matt is gaining. Are they gonna
Yeah, Soffi's nervous. Soffi's nervous.
Will we go for the Joker lap? Littler is not going for the Joker lap.
Matt didn't do the Joker lap. What a surprise.
Joker lap. Wow.
Soffi has done
But
the
he
Joker
gained
lap.
first. Soffi is gaining. Soffi is gaining.
Soffi has not really made too many mistakes here, so he's in his whole lead up to this race, so
Oh, almost hit the wall. Almost hit
he won't
the
make
wall.
a mistake here. But yeah, you see he's going to cut the track. Look at that. Well, he hasn't blown any walls there, mate, so he's going to...
They go to lap 2. The difference is
Littler
about
knows he
a
has to
second.
do a joke lap, either
Matt
this or
doesn't
next
take
lap.
it. Oh, Matt takes it too wide. Soffi.
Proper wide.
It's
I've got a
lot
line
better,
for
he
20
gains
to
the
8, that's
time.
trying to distract me.
Matt.
I thought I'd try something different today.
Matt flashing his headlights. Soffi taking the last one. No. Wow.
Littler's already gained a lot of time back. It was like 3 seconds, it's now 1.5.
Matt is catching up a little bit.
Oh, Soffi is on the grass. Soffi's on the grass.
He's taking the
Last
corner
lap
crowd,
they
look at
enter.
him.
Last lap, chavo. Last
Oh,
lap,
they're
guys.
about neck on neck.
And the gap now in the final lap is half a second. That is what separates them. And look at that, he's
That's
brake
too wide.
checking Littler into turn 2 here. He's now going to over
Verstappen
the
number
jump.
1 entered the... Come on. Both did the Joker lap. Moment of truth. Who's gonna win the title?
And looks like Littler's coming in
almost
very hot
contact.
there. But unfortunately doesn't get any momentum to carry him through as we go through to the third last corner here. You can see them taking it very cleanly here.
Oh, that's the
What
one.
to do now?
Boycott
We
it.
see an audacious lose.
10 points down! First driver to win all 3 rounds! First Nations League champion for 10 points down!
Oh my lord! Oh my god! Yes! Oh my god! Woo!
By my calculations, we win the championship by 1 point.
I flipped that wall at the end, otherwise I could have probably got him last corner, but I flipped that wall.
I'm muting Soffi. Anyway, Lila, you were trying to get that renewal, right? Free renewal, right?
Huh?
Free renewal from Soffi, right? Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
No time for
Okay, let me know when Soffi's done with shenanigans. I'm gonna. I cannot tolerate his singing.
Well, you can have now.
We're the champions, my
Yeah.
friend.
Oh no, mute him. Because Soffi don't
We'll keep on fighting till the end. We are the champions. We are the champions.
If you want to send me money, just send me money.
Cause we are the champions.
Bro,
man.
he's not hitting a single note.
Even I.
Guys, thank you all so much for watching this video. If you did enjoy this video, which took quite a while to make sure you smash a like and subscribe. It would be massively appreciated. If you would like, please also join the membership for just £1.99 a month to get exclusive features such as early access to these videos. Thank you all to the drivers in FSL for making it such an incredible season. Of course, this video wouldn't be complete without letting you know what side championships I won this year. I managed to win the Kart King Championship, which was a new championship where we used the 125 shifter, and I managed to also defend my time attack championship. We had by far the most pole positions, so we comfortably won that championship. Unfortunately, we couldn't hold on to our demo derby championship title, so hopefully in season 4 we can go for the quadruple. The streams may be over for 2025, but the videos aren't yet. I've still got 2 videos left to release, the 2025 best and funniest moments, and ranking my viewers Spotify Wrapped. I will leave it there, so once again, make sure you smash like and subscribe for more videos just like this one, and always stay hype, and I'll catch you guys soon. Peace!